And start cam, there we go. And I'm off. All right. 17 December 2020 feels like 1 March 2020. And that's kind of the reason for today's rants. All right. Uh Somebody in the chat eventually will tell me Große. I know I'm not pronouncing it right, and for the moment I don't care. It's a German term that means big lie. And we've been suffering so much of this crap for the last basically 8 years that it's not even funny. What's going on? Well, a lot of it is you take a little bit of true thing, whatever this true thing is, and then you blow it way out of proportion, or you add shit to it that isn't part of it, and you can turn it into the biggest lie imaginable. Here's a great example. A quarter of a million Americans have died of COVID-19. That's a great example. Okay. No, maybe it's more than the 20,000 that some are saying, and maybe it's less than the 2,000 that others are saying. I know either statement could be true. A quarter of a million is not a true answer. Here's the true answer. A quarter of a million Americans have died with COVID antibodies in them. All right. Not even half of them have died either of the disease or related to the disease. All right. Most people don't know this. I had meningitis when I was 6 months old. And this is the nasty viral, we closed down school districts, close down and scrub school districts, even though none of the affected students even went anywhere near that school. Meningitis. I was 6 months old. When I die, they're going to do a routine autopsy on me. They're going to take a blood sample, and they're going to say, hey, Mandatory Carey has meningitis antibodies in his blood, so obviously he had meningitis. And that's true. That was 40 plus, hi OT, that was 40 plus years ago. I had meningitis 40 years ago. It's not going to kill me now. It can't kill me now. And that's the kind of gross luge that some smart F word I can't say on YouTube someday is going to try and say, Mandatory Carey died of meningitis. It gets worse. I'll get to that in a minute. Hi, OT. Sorry about the less than proper greeting. This, you just caught me at a bad moment, bud. All right. I've said this before, and I'll say it a million times. My first business partner, Brent, back in August of last year, June, July, August, I think it was August, he goes to the hospital. He's having respiratory problems. He just can't, he's feeling this pain when he does his daily run. Right? Okay. Doctors start testing him, and yes, he's got some sort of inflammation in his lungs. What is it? We don't know. We can't figure it out. Fast forward to November, maybe December. There's a story coming out of China about a epidemic in one city, and they've locked down the city, and they're calling ships back filled with PPE and this and that. And someone at that hospital panics, hits the button, hits the big red button, and brings the whole world down on this one patient because Maybe he has this Wuhan virus. I, I, I don't even think they had a name for it yet. Just Wuhan. That's all they knew. They start testing him. They start looking for anything at all. And he was on a respirator at this point. Okay, so that's a true statement. Um, didn't find anything. February, he finally does pass away. I want to say it was like 15, 16, something like that. His widow is actually Fixed Bayonets. For those of you that have been around the channel for a while, she took over his partnership role. Actually, she did like June or July of last year. But anyway, um, February, March, April, his death certificate came out. It read COVID. He died of COVID. Now, officially, he's no, that's not good. He Alameda, I think it was, county coroner, Napa county coroner finally amended his death certificate. What happened was the nurses at the hospital filled out the preliminary paperwork so that the doctors didn't have to. And that's a common practice. The doctor takes this piece of paper and says, okay, everything's spelled correctly, it looks right, and signs off on it. The doctor at that hospital really was just pounding with COVID cases. Something like 15 people that day were already sick. He's got 24 hours to deal with 15 people at about 2-3 hours a piece. That's a lot of pressure. He depends on those nurses to do their job. Nurse made a mistake, hit COVID, handed the paperwork off to the doctor. The doctor, put bluntly, overwhelmed, just signed off on it. Didn't pay enough attention. He's even said, I just signed off on it. Now, flag on the play. I just beat the hell out of nurses. That's not fair either. This doctor has 15 COVID patients. They have 15 COVID patients, right? They're overwhelmed too. He's in this part of the hospital where everybody else is COVID. She made a mistake that I could have made under the exact same circumstances. Napa County uh, medical examiner went back and amended the death certificate. I think that was June or July. Excuse me, March. Um, Holy shit. You know what? I'm not sure now. Anyway, it was a couple months later. Wow. But because that original death certificate still says COVID, his life insurance will not pay. He died of a natural cause, or, well, of a virus that's not covered. It gets worse, believe it or not. Now I'm going to do a share screen here. 17 Morning Joe. I am not ignoring you, people. Not in the least. Ah, excellent. There it is. Morning Joe rips Trump for fire hose of falsehoods and Nazi-like propaganda on COVID. That's rich. This guy claiming any kind of moral superiority, period, after the lies he's been telling, that's rich. Stop screen. The media has been lying to you. They tell you 250,000 when even the CDC has said, no, no, it's way less than that. I think CDC, their official number is somewhere in the 20,000 range. All right. And maybe it's higher than that. Not that much. The ability to control that information is Große. You can amplify anything you want by just saying the part of the story you want people to hear. You say 250,000 people have died of COVID and ignore the fact that over 150,000 of them were already sick and on their way. Um, they were dying anyways. Most of them were in hospice or in ICU, and doctors are saying it's pretty imminent. We need to get the family down here, which it was the case in Brent, which was Brent's case. They knew about 12 to 14 hours he was close, and they were not going to be bringing him back. So you tell everybody he died of COVID when the evidence says he never had it, or she never had it, or yes, they died of COVID, or yes, they had COVID, or they had meningitis. That's not what's killing them. Whatever's killing them is that original issue that brought them to the damn hospital. Yes, this is a very angering and frustrating thing for me. OT says, today we received the COVID-19 vaccine. Um, okay, all right. I will not do it. I will not take the vaccine. There are those that think that the vaccine is the mark of the beast. Um, okay, boomer. There are those that think it will cause the zombie uprising. Eh. Okay, Zoomer. There are those of us that think that it's ridiculous and unnecessary. And then there are those of us, oh, damn it, who are so frustrated and tired of the lies that they're just going to stubbornly say, no, you know what? At this point, I don't believe a word that's coming out of your mouth. I'm not doing it. Yo, sorry, I'm tired of being lied to. Well, correction, I'm not the least bit sorry. I'm just tired of being lied to. And the vaccine has now become part of the lie. So the answer is no. So that's it. I'd rather get the virus, be sick for a couple days, and then come back. And then I can sell my blood. I wouldn't sell my blood. But anyway, all right. Just to prove I'm fair and impartial about my hate and malcontent, Joe Biden gun ban. Let's talk about some other grobluge. Um, I do believe that Joe, or at least his followers, cheated, lied, stole, manipulated, and rigged elections. That's it. You'll never convince me otherwise. All right. That doesn't make him the pure epitome and absolute of evil, but yeah, actually, he kind of is. Um, but now there's a story going around that he's going to repeal the Second Amendment. I always get so amused by these histrionic, hysteric. Oh, damn it. Big fancy word that Papa Carey knows. Papa Carey was a psych ward nurse. Um, histrionic, hysteric, something like that. Anyway, it's where your brain has gone to the point where you couldn't tell yourself the truth, and you're going to screech the lie to hear it in your own ears at this point. Saying that Joe Biden is going to repeal the Second Amendment is that histrionic ridiculousness that I was just talking about. All right. To amend the Constitution. Hey, Luke, I know who that is. He's a friend of mine. Be nice to him. He's probably listening because I'm pretty sure he's at work. To amend the Constitution, you've got to get 2/3 of the states, which I think is 38, to vote to amend the Constitution. To repeal an amendment, you got to amend the Constitution. In the history of the United States, only one amendment has ever been repealed. 13th, I think it was, which was prohibition, which was repealed, I think, by the 21st, using basically the same. Uh, well, to get the 13th passed, um, what they did was the supporters would move from state to state, pass it in that state, move on to the next state, pass it, move on to the next state, pass it. Right? It took something like 12 years to get that amendment passed, and it took something like 2 years, I think, 2.5 years, something like that, to get enough states to say no that it got repealed. Joe does not have enough supporters to pass a repeal of the Second Amendment. It's not going to happen. All right. But we got people out there swearing up one side and down the other. He's going to do exactly that. Where does this come from? Well, this comes from something that he probably was floating in what should have been a private meeting and stayed a private meeting about ways that he could restrict the Second Amendment. We'll come back to that in a minute. And one of the ideas that was floated was treat magazines over 10 rounds capacity, clips over 10 round capacity as high capacity and restrict them under the Hughes Amendment, NFA, excuse me, which means you'd have to pay $200 to have your 15 round mag clip. That's no go. You would never make that happen. But he may have floated the idea, and somebody stabbed him in the back and went to the press. Now, he's the guy that actually brought to the Senate floor, the 91 gun ban with the 10-year sunset clause on it. You know, the one the NRA supported, the one that Barack tried to bring back to Congress, but without the sunset clause, which is why it died. And this new one will not pass any better. That notwithstanding, if I was in a position to do so, I would go out right now and buy the body armor, the lower 80% lower receivers, the this, the that, everything I knew might go away that I thought I could ever use. I'm going to catch up on chat real quick. OT says, in the near future, you can't travel until you get the vaccine, and that's a big question. Well, OT, no, you won't be able to fly because airlines are already talking about making that a requirement. You have to be able to prove you had the vaccination. I don't like flying anyways. Sorry, bro. I hate flying. For those of you that don't know, OT is something something aviation mechanic or something. Um, so he has a an interest in the field. Uh, Matter of fact, I'm just going to go there and say I have a feeling OT got the vaccination because it was that or you're fired. I'm going to wait for him to get back to me. And yeah, my field, fortunately, my employer, my current employer actually is an virulent anti-vaxxer behind closed doors. When uh, she thinks that nobody's listening in, she's made some really like crazy anti-vax rants. I would go get a flu vaccination if it weren't for the fact that I wasn't doing it before because her histrionics are just that kind of like weird shit. Luke says, no vax for me, thanks. Yeah. What? Not that one anyway. I'm, well, I'll get into this in a minute. Um, so yeah, she talks about lead and mercury, excuse me, mercury in flu vaccine. 80. Stop. You sound like a fool. Okay. OT says, well, I guess I'm going to resign then. I'm not flying. So you didn't actually get stuck yet? I'm very slightly confused at this point. Um, so yeah, for those of you that may have forgotten somehow, I was in the service. I got the anthrax vaccine. It was just part of being in the service. Only I didn't get the full protocol. I got the preliminary. Those of you that have been following the anthrax vaccine disaster, there's two ways of doing it. Either you get the full protocol or you become well impotent, right? It causes impotence. Fortunately for me, I got the first shot, but not the second. And that's where the problem starts. If you get the first one, you're okay. Get the second one, but not the third one, you're fucked for the rest of your life. Um, and there have been women that have reported, hey, I was able to have kids before this, and now I'm not. So what are you going to tell me now? OT says he's not been stuck. Good, because I'm about to get into that a little bit deeper. The COVID vaccine was rushed to a degree that I've never heard of a vaccine ever being rushed before. All right. Flu vaccines are not rushed that hard. Here I am thinking of the anthrax vaccine and what it's done. I'm just saying. When every world leader and member of Congress and various national legislatures and their subordinate governors and states or equivalent have all taken the vaccine, then I'll believe you. OT says, no, this vaccine is different. I'm sorry, I don't understand. Um, As far as I know, there's only two anthrax vaccines, and both of them were also rushed. Oh, excuse me. So, not planning on to be a zombie anytime soon. No, nobody plans on it. It's something that happens. Um. So yeah, no, I'm not doing that either. Now the subject is this grub luge, and people are going to accuse me of grub luge for saying the virus or the vaccine is unsafe, or at least not proven safe. Here I am saying, wait a second, you people say you've tested it, and you have no idea what the long term effects are. Going back to the anthrax vaccine, in the 80s when it first rolled out, it was great and awesome, and we were just going to use it for a small percentage of the military that are high risk. Here we are, 2008 ish, 2007 ish, and everybody's getting it. And now we know that there's a long term effect that we can't predict. Well, that we didn't know about at the time. So don't go accusing me of doing what you yourself have been doing, right? Don't accuse me of Gros Luge when you've been lying to my face. Oh, we tested it. It's safe. No, you haven't tested it. Um, the Biden gun ban and repealing the Second Amendment. I think we lost Luke. Um, is an example of that Gros Luge. They're taking a little bit of the story and blowing it way out of proportion into something it's not, and it fundamentally can't be. Um, is it true that Joe Biden hates the Second Amendment? Yeah. I mean that's a provable statement. He's done it before. Is it true that he's going to repeal the Second Amendment? No, he can't do that by himself. We lost OT. Okay. Um, is it plausible, at least, that he's going to get a new gun ban passed? Yeah. Is it plausible that he's going to get basically the 91 ban all over again, but this time without a sunset clause? Yeah. And this time, he's not going to stop with two or more features. He's going to go for the 2013 ban, which was one or more features, which is not a thing, but come back to that later. And detachable magazine in general, uh, magazine over 15 round or over 10 rounds in general. So my gun, and I will remove the clip so that I can show it. As you can see, that's 15 round mag. This would be illegal. Removable magazine, 15 round clip. I would now be a felon. And in about 2 years, this probably will make me a felon. Oh, and by the way, he has talked about mandatory buybacks. You think that's not going to be part of it? That's going to be part of it. Ironically enough, if it were up to me, you'd be required to, at very least, own one of these. Any, basically any kind. I don't care. A handgun, um, a multi-round handgun. That includes revolvers, semi-autos equally. I don't actually make that distinction. I'll let y'all in on a secret. Fixed bayonets does. If it were up to her, revolvers would not be covered. Fortunately, I made the page first, and that puts me in charge. I can get away with saying that because I know exactly where she is and what she's doing right now. So it's going to be about 4 hours before she sees this. Um, and that would actually meet the standard. Growing up, my mom had at one point a 25 caliber semi-auto purse gun. I think it was a 5 round, maybe six. Tiny little thing, right? It would have fit in the palm of my hand as an adult, at least. Um, that would meet the standard. It would literally just meet the standard because you can't go any smaller, but it would meet the standard. Um, and actually, that's one of the things that Dadislav covers. You have to own it. You may not always be able to prove I have it because it's in the shop or another cop took it, or hey, I'm drunk. I left it at home. I was going to the bar tonight. I knew I was going to get drunk, and I know when I get drunk, I get a little bit not okay. You know, you're not the first cop to be talking to me with handcuffs on, so I left it at home. Uh, OT says I'm here. He likes my gun. Luke says 15 rounds. Weak. This is the factory standard for a Glock 22. Um, it's not a secret that I have a couple of big sticks. I think those are 32 round. I know they're they're back in Nevada right now, um, which is where I'm going to be next week. By the way, um, it's not a secret I have them. I got them originally for the Caltech, which I then gave to Dad for the lake house because there's wolves or coyotes or something. I know there's coyotes because I heard them. Um, I figured he could use it more than I do. Um, but yeah, it's not a secret that I have them. They've been on camera before, bro. Where you been? Um, and by the way, this is a 40 cal, so that's about the biggest you're going to be able to do. I've tried. Don't tell Raggle. I tried putting another round in a couple times, and no, that's not going to work. We got 3 people watching. Um, and I'm going to wager that one of them is Betty. Oh, hi, Total. Sorry, I'm late to the party. You made it to the party. I can't tell you how many of these parties I'm literally walking in as they start sweeping the deck. Um, was it just last night or the night before? I showed up to one of Ghost Tactical's parties, and like within a minute, he said, "Well, we're going to start sweeping the floor now." Damn it, I'm late. I'm that late. Um, Actually, it was the night before because last night I showed up about 2 minutes before Chaplain Drew started sweeping the floor too. Um, hey, OT says I've seen them before in one of your videos. Somebody's seen my big sticks. Just saying. I don't think I've seen. I've shown those since. Well, since I handed over the Kell to Papa Carey, but well, no, wait, maybe I have. OT, did I do that with my Civil War loadout ammo video? Which, by the way, I'm going to go and redo. There's like 4 or 5 people that have pointed out I did not make a mistake, but I could have explained it better. Um, so I'm gonna go back and remake that once I get back home. Um, Repealing the Second Amendment is not going to happen. Restricting it down to basically non-existence, maybe. I don't know. Um, OT says he saw the video a couple months ago, so it's not like this is the most important thing in his universe, right? Paying his bills needs to be his most important thing. And what was that girl's name? Invader V, Vader. The webcam girl who got roasted literally alive for saying you need to get a job. That's what she was trying to say. Just said it very poorly. Um, I'm sorry. I kind of feel a little bit bad because for her, because she said something that was important and true in the worst possible way. I that had to really suck. Um. Oh yes. That leads to another subject. All right. I'm pretty sure by now everybody knows or has heard that the mandatory carry channel started on Pornhub. Before you unsubscribe, hear the whole story out. One of the channels I was subscribed to at the time was Bloke on the Range. Uh, and Mike is a Brit, and he's very, very Brit, but he's not a limey. He is so not limey that he was owner of not just like 5 or 6 of the more common guns that you could sometimes buy in a hardware store. Okay, low end pawn shop here in the United States. He owned a couple of automatics, right? A couple of the guns that I would call assault weapons, like not quite a BAR. He owned a couple of German era submachine guns. I think he shot them on camera. All right, I think he owned an M1 carbine, not an M2. But he also knew about the M2 carbine. I think he shot it once. Don't hold me to that. I think that was Ian's gun. And he does own a Swedish uh, assault rifle from the World War II era. Okay, this is no limey. This guy went out of his way, way, way out of his way, a degree that I would not personally feel a need to go. Right? They nuked his channel. They nuked that. Well, no, I'm sorry. They didn't nuke his channel. They they did shut his channel off. And I do remember because I went to go see a video that I meant to watch when it came out and I just didn't have time. And all I can see is this posting about his channel shut down. What the hell? Here's the whole story, as far as I know it. He has 2 rifles that had a little kit. Basically, all it is a pipe. The inside diameter is set to the or outside diameter rather is set to the inside diameter of one type of rifle. The inside diameter of that pipe is set to a different caliber, and it's literally an insert you can put into a 30-06 to turn it into a smaller caliber. He had like 2 seconds of the box sitting on his table. he does show the box. This box looks like it's like 80 years old. All right. That's the video I did see. He's talking about this insert. He had another one I didn't get a chance to see because a week later, when they finally gave him his channel back, both of those videos have been removed as advertising. All right. I'm thinking, are they going to nuke my channel, or at least this video, over me showing my gun because it's advertising? By the way, I am not advertising this brand or this model. Okay. This is what I carry because of my last job. Not necessarily what you should run out and get. I've covered that in another video, and I'll cover it again a little later. Are they going to nuke my channel because of that? That's when I knew I really did have to step up and come out from behind a curtain and say, okay, you know what? This is my face. This is me. And for those of you that have been around since then, you even know my real name. I'm just saying. Um, the right about that same time, and this is Fixed Bayonets. She found a channel, a gun channel, had actually transitioned over to Pornhub entirely. They weren't going to post anything else on YouTube. They were done. Um, Joe was actually livid in that introductory video. If you ever see him mad, you know when he's mad, his voice has a certain very southwestern hint to it, and it's a specific sound that as he's talking, as he sounds like he's calm, little thing comes out, and oh, you're mad, and you're hiding it very, very well. And he was pissed about a lot of things. Um, he actually gives an interview a week or so later. At the time, Pornhub understood that they had an obligation to the First Amendment first, because the same people that want to shut down, literally shut down all the gun channels on YouTube, want to shut them down entirely. And I'm not even joking. It was a project, or well, it's called Operation Choke Point under the Brock administration. That what they did, the Department of Justice put pressure on the banks to cut off the financial support for gun makers, um, online gambling, which, okay, I get wanting to shut them down, payday loans. I don't like payday loans, but it's a decision you've made on your own. Porn. They actually were going to cut off porn sites. Pornhub at the time actually reached out to Joe and a few other members of the gun community and said, hey, we're going to offer you a new home. Come on down. Joe went down. And he reloaded, I think, half of his videos. People were actually watching some of them. I know because I was one of them. This is the one where Joe and his partner, Jeff, fake name, gave an interview about, this was their only openly political statement. They were opposed to any new regulations in the Second Amendment. And I'm pretty sure Joe said something to the effect of he wanted to see NFA, the enforcement of the NFA eased. Now, Pornhub has gone full-on restrictionist. My Pornhub channel is gone. I know, I just checked last night. Matter of fact, the original title of this was just to be how COVID and Biden, well, actually, just how the Biden gunman was being exaggerated into Große. And then I thought, well, I could include COVID. And then I heard about what happened at Pornhub. I was like, oh my God, you gotta be shitting me. Oh, it's gone. So that's when I added that. Actually, I think OT knows. OT, I saw that on our mutual network, right? I think that's where I saw it. Um, so that's amazing. And it happened because MasterCard cut Pornhub off entirely. That's actually really pathetic. You caved over money. Well, first they caved over money, and then they just got caved anyway. You know what? That's going to be my next rant. Never surrender, and this is why. I'm going to catch up on the chat. OT is confirming, yeah, we saw that over at Alpha Bravo Lima. So, yeah, I saw that posted and I went and checked, and yeah, mine's gone. I hadn't been posting there anyway because some little F word you can't say on YouTube was literally reporting all of my videos, sometimes as fast as they went up. And they were just taking it down, not even paying attention. Hey, there's a report. This video is reported, so it's obviously got to go. Before that, total control. Sorry, totes. I think the Second Amendment will be eliminated through attrition, meaning they will grandfather in people like you while denying new people to have access to guns. That is actually a real thing. All right. Full disclosure, I understand denying violent felons guns or any kind of weapon, right? Somebody who has a felony conviction, if you commit a felony, you really had to try, right? The grandpa, not the grandpa, Iraq veteran 8888's father went on camera ranting about nonviolent felons being denied guns. What he also unfortunately remembered to mention was that the nonviolent felon he was referring to forged documentation. Well, what he forged was registration on his car. He got a I don't know, piece of red or blue or whatever color electrical tape and put it over the registration sticker on his car to make it look like the vehicle was registered. Now, in the grand scheme of things, that's really kind of petty. All right, I admit that. But it means you had to go through another step. Versus somebody who just says, you know what, fuck it. I'm not going to bother with registering my car. It's not worth the trouble, right? Never going to get caught. By the way, you will eventually get caught. Talk about that some other day. And that guy got a felony, uh, not forged registration, but essentially, yeah, forging a false registration. When he got pulled over, I guess he was pretty cool about it and didn't try to lie any further. Either way, to commit a felony, you really have to try, as opposed to commit a misdemeanor. I would love anybody in one of my live streams to be able to say, no, Carrie, I have never crossed the street at a crosswalk and not had one foot outside that white line. I have never met somebody who has been so spurgish about jaywalking that they have never even stepped outside the white lines of a crosswalk. Hell, I can't say that. I'm a little less uncareful, but I've done it. And it's usually just as I'm coming off the crosswalk, if I'm going to be turning left or right, as opposed to continuing on straight. That white line is the limit of the crosswalk. You can't cross it. Can't cross out of it. That's jaywalking. Everybody's done that. I literally I was jaywalking twice a day at my last job. Well, actually, no, twice an hour, but only two of them really counted because the twice an hour was in the performance of my duty. The twice a day was getting out of my car, going into the office, going from the office back into my car to go home. Everybody commits the misdemeanors. You can't not do it. That's why misdemeanors are these tiny ass piddly fines. You pay it and you get on with your life. And nobody remembers 6 months later, except you when you're pissed off because that's not what I actually did, but talk about that some other day. All right. I'm at 51 minutes of ranting. I know, I'm sorry, guys. I I wrote Dataslav to say if you have a felony conviction, you're permanently you are relieved of your obligation to keep and bear arms, whether you want to or not, whether the court really thinks it's appropriate to the circumstances or not. I also believe that if you have a felony conviction, you should be able to present to the court a pathway to rehabilitation. Now, that pathway to rehabilitation might be a reflection of the seriousness of your crime. You rape and murder someone and then burn their house down with them still in it to try to get rid of the evidence. Yeah, that's a whole nother level. Um, versus you get some electrical tape to hide the fact that your plates are not registered, your vehicle is not registered. That's a whole, I'm not I'm not really sure how serious a felony this is. Right? Does this really require prison time? Unpopular opinion in the conservative community. And this is my minarchist coming out. I would repeal all of the drug laws as they're written right now and start over again from scratch. Um, Basically, legalize all of the vices: gambling, drugs, prostitution, uh, not animal fighting. Come back to that at a different point. But legalize them, tax them all at about 50%, and say, okay, you want to smoke pot? Go smoke pot. Don't hurt nobody. And oh, yeah, while you're under the influence, you're relieved of your duty to carry. Thanks, please. Inebriation is a very much listed conditional exemption. Um, where was I going with this? I'm really bad. I know. I'm sorry, guys. Um, yeah, the felony, a convicted felon is a listed exemption, but you know what? Uh, Only the most serious Violent felonies should be forever and a day. That's also why the way I wrote Dataslav, if you are applying for a restoration of rights, you get your duty to carry back, whether you want it or not. Fuck you, California. Okay, I gotta catch up on chat real quick. Total Control said first MasterCard masturbated, then cut them off, then masturbated again. This must be some FinDom stuff. I don't know. And OT thought that was funny. You know, Toads, I got to get you in here someday. So yeah. I almost got that. Total. I almost got the joke. That close, bro. Um, and I don't know what OT's laughing at now, but that's okay. Um, oh, I'm sorry, guys. I forgot to put the Discord link in. OT was laughing at my story. You know what? On the subject of that story, a couple of years ago, me and my then girlfriend were in the middle of foreplay. A neighbor made a serious error in perception. She called the cops and accused me of trying to rape her. When the cops showed up, they found out there was no rape. But because I was wearing paintball armor, which was part of the foreplay, I was arrested. The official arrest report was well, it said disturbing the peace, and his arrest report said wearing tactical gear. Fishing gear is tactical gear too, if it's black. Fishing vest can actually be, well, black. The first tactical vests were just black fishing vests. I was charged with a felony. Yeah. I beat the felony. The misdemeanor just wasn't worth the fight anymore. Yes, OT. Charged with a felony. Um, very, very long story, very, very short. The cop made what would have been not an understandable mistake 2 weeks earlier. There was real threats against police at that time that had just hit. If I'd been arrested 2 weeks earlier, if this had happened 2 weeks earlier and he'd come out, he'd be like, okay, well, I came out here, so I better record something, and then I'm on my way. But now, because of the real threats against cops that was happening at the time, he overreacted. I'm just going to say I understand the overreaction. I'm not okay with the DA trying to cover it up. There, I said that. Um, that's an example of how you can literally twist anything into a felony. All right, there. I just said it. You can twist anything into a felony if you have a sufficient motivation. The DA's sufficient motivation at the time was, well, there was a real threat against cops in general and big city cops in particular. I'm just saying. Um, Under somewhat similar circumstances, yeah, we need to stop hitting people with felonies or things that were actually not crimes. There. And oh, Total wants me to get back on track with Pornhub. Well, yeah, that's kind of it. Pornhub, Pornhub deleted all non-verified accounts. Okay, so that means just channel's gone. I think Jeff had a channel. Um, the Demo Man, which those of you in the 2A community, you know who these people are. The Demo Man, he had a channel, that's gone. I guarantee you that's gone. Um, Now, a bloke didn't have a channel. Breathing is now a felony, Total says, and yeah, actually, depending on where you're breathing. Just saying. My channel's gone. I want to talk about that verified accounts thing. I had one particular video up. It was not pornographic at all. It was the Alita Are You Ready video. Most of you by now have seen that. Hmm. I'm really, really proud of the work that my associate put into that. He did a great job. Um, I put that up on Pornhub. It got something like 17,000 views. 17,000 views? I'm like just dumbstruck. Okay. So I decided, yeah, maybe I should monetize this channel. I started to go through that process. As far as I know, I did everything I was supposed to do. They would not monetize the channel, but I was a verified account. So anybody trying to tell you that it was only unverified accounts is full of shit. Now, I know that there was some things going on involving Pornhub and people who should not be on Pornhub under any circumstances, especially on camera. I'm just going to say that. I found one of them and I know what was going on. And, oh, girl, you're going to prison someday. Um, but they can only do what they can do. All right. Somebody's telling them, I'm 18 and lying. What are they supposed to do? All right. Um, and this is not the first time that sort of thing has happened. That's why that's also a felony now. Lying on a sworn statement. All right. The industry thereof, well, the porn industry now requires an affidavit or sworn statement of some sort. Yes, this is me. This is my age. This is proof it's me. It could be said I have a little bit of knowledge of that industry. Could also be said that I know about 3 or 4 warehouses, probably empty now, down in San Francisco area that, well, good luck breaking into those buildings. Good luck. Um, if you're lucky, one of the 3 buildings, the police will eventually come and get you. Excuse me, 2 of the buildings. One of the buildings, if you're not lucky, you might not get out of that building, or you won't get out of that building for about 5 or 10 years. And there's a really good reason why that building is that nasty. Total Control says, thanks again for turning me on to BitChute. My pleasure. Let you all in on a little secret. Other than live streams, I upload all of my videos to BitChute first. Flag on the plate. I'm loading them up basically at the same time. The YouTube videos, sometimes they load faster. So I have them set to private just in case, but the BitChute videos go public immediately. That way, someday when YouTube is trying to say, you stole this video from us. No, I didn't. Look at the timestamps. This one went live at 12 on the 17th of December. Your version of this video went live at 0200 on the 18th. Have a nice day. Go away. The only advantage to the other way around, first of all, BitChute doesn't have a live stream service yet. Just saying. And second of all, YouTube is a lot more. You can put together playlists on YouTube. Have like the intro for this playlist public, and then the rest of them unlisted. So you could my Civil War loadout series. I need to go back and check, but I think it's set up that the first one is public, and then the subsequent ones are all unlisted. But if you watch the public intro, you go straight through the rest of them, like chapters in a book. Can't do that on BitChute. That's kind of a pain in the ass. Because I don't really want everybody in the world getting 15 and 20 notifications. Oh, Mandatory Carry uploaded a new video and you got to go check it out. No, because that's the best way to turn people off. Upload 5 videos in one day or upload the same video 5 times. There are people that I don't follow or I stop following because they do 15, 20 videos. One in particular has like 5 channels. If he even does one every day on every channel, that's ridiculous. I can't follow that. So I follow one of them. And so he has these other 4 that I don't know anything about. And that's just the way it is. It's annoying. But an intro video for a series, that's fine. Everybody understands. Oh, okay. Mandatory Carry, new video, Civil War loadout series. And then it goes into the rest of the series. OT says that's too much. Yeah. Hell. When I started Mike Charlie channel on Pornhub back in 2017, I think it was, maybe late 2016, I said I was only going to do one video a week and that it would always be Tuesday at 0200 because that's when Brent was dealing with it. I'd send him the video, he'd check and make sure everything's okay, and then he'd put it up for me. So he would be doing it Tuesdays at 0200. He got sick, I had to take it over. OT says 1 or 2 videos per week unless there's big news. It depends on the nature of your channel. All right. Like, let's call him Tom. Tom is the guy with the standby. For those of you that don't know, I'm still at Papa Carey's. I'm headed back on Sunday. That could have been Papa Carey calling saying I'm hurt. So anyway, Yeah, Tom has 4 channels, and he does a lot of news-related content. 2 videos per day might be appropriate for some of his channels. Hi, troll! Total says, also, you burn through mad data gigs uploading all those platforms. Depends on your service. Like where I am right now, doesn't matter. When I was first starting Mandatory Carry as a channel back on Pornhub with just my cell phone to work with, and no internet service out there, so I was doing it on data. Yeah, that was a big problem. Troll says, "Oh, cool. And howdy. Um, I assume you're talking about me doing 1 video per week. That channel's gone. You'll have to go back and watch the rest of it to know." Ooh, wrong pipe. Um, I'm also not polished enough to do 2 videos per day. I'm not polished enough to do 1 video per day. Troll, the original subject was a Luge, which I know I'm mispronouncing. It's a German term that means big lie. And how at this point everybody is using big lie as a tactic. Troll says, I broke my aquaponics. I've been swimming with my fishes for 2 days. I know what aquaponics is. It's the technical term for fish farming. I've been swimming with my fishes for 2 days. I assume he means that he's been down in the pond trying to repair the equipment or keep the fishes alive until the equipment can get repaired. Because I know some types of fish, you actually have to pump air into the pond. Something dissolving the air, something. I don't even pretend to understand enough of what I'm saying to know the words I'm using. Um, oh, okay. He's fixing. Troll is fixing my broken bits. I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that it's referring to probably piping and maybe some pumps and possibly filters. I know a little bit about this subject because I want to build basically a very interesting aquaponics pond for koi or maybe trout, something fish that's very hardy and will eat mosquito larvae. So I know a little bit, just enough to make me dangerous to myself and everyone around me, including the koi, unfortunately. Those of you that know about that project, you can kind of guess where that's going. All right, so yeah, I compared troll. I compared coronavirus reporting and the Biden gun ban to grow illusion. The fact of the matter is, yeah, there's a reason for it. Taking these tiny little bits of the facts and the truth, blowing it up like Hiroshima. All right. Um, so questions and answers, go ahead and hit me. Especially you, Luke, because I know you're still out there somewhere. Um, we're only at an hour and 14 minutes, and I will never go under an hour and 30 unless there's an emergency. Oh, on a related note, I wasn't able to live stream last week because of Papa Carey. He's doing a lot better. He's actually walking. Uh, for those of you that missed it, Papa Carey broke his hip just over a month ago, I think it was. Um, I had to come back to California to help take care of him for a couple of weeks. Last week, he had a doctor's appointment he had to attend that started right about halfway through live stream time. So I really want to thank those of you that came back despite me missing a live stream. And to kind of make up for it, I'm going to throw this out there. There's been a couple of requests that I do a second live stream uh, on a weekly basis. So in comments after we're done here, I'd like to hear what kind of time frames people would be interested in hearing about. I can tell you absolutely that it wouldn't be anything before 1700. OT, yeah, he's doing a lot better. Thank you. Um, OT, when he was in his 20s, the treatment for a broken hip is you go into the hospital, you have the broken part cut off, removed, you have the unbroken part cut off to smooth it out so it doesn't irritate you for the rest of your life, and you get issued a wheelchair. That's all they could do back then. I actually watched him walk 8 feet, 6 feet, something like that, to me and then back to his chair unassisted 2 days ago. He's doing great. Now, of course, Luke is still here. Um, and Bad Carey forgot that he drives a lot. Um, so yeah. Anyway, all right, moving on. Thank you, Troll. Excuse me, Total. Um, I'm gonna go into take back some of what I just said earlier. Um, Joe is not going to be able to repeal the Second Amendment by himself. Um, he's not even going to be able to restrict it too far by himself. This magazine tax stamp idea, I don't think that's going to fly, Tim. But if I was you, I would just get the $150+ each to order a couple of those 100 round surefires, put them in a box somewhere, and try to forget about it. Let's assume that it does happen. When the ATF comes to knock on your door, let them in. They're not here. What do you want me to say? They can tear your house apart upside down and right side up. If you don't have them, you don't have them. That's it. Um, I'm just saying. Um, just go and do it. Order at least one AR-15 80% lower receiver because I got a feeling he's going to try to get those in, and at least one of 80% lower receiver for the type of gun that your local police department carries. Now, actually, or sheriff in my case, for those of you that live in the county, my sheriff's office carries the Glock 17. Glock 22 can be converted to a Glock 17 with $179. And I have that kit. It's a drop-in kit. Oh, but I'm not going to show it. I'm not going to show it on camera because everybody knows that's advertising. So you'll just have to find it on your own. I'm sorry. Um, if you're in the Discord, it's listed. It's kind of buried down in the Second Amendment options section. And I know some of the people watching this, well, can't order it from the people I did. Like OT does not live in the United States, so he can't order it. Um, um, not Troll, but Troll, your twin brother. Not Dangerous Spaces. God, I'm so bad with names. Sorry, guys, give me a second. I'm going to get it for this, but you have a twin brother. I swear to God. Oh, Beanie, but he's not here. He's never here. Anyway, you have an Aussie twin. Um, yeah. Okay, here we go. Total Control 871 says, bottom line, America is about to go to war with communist insurgency. Bruh, if you thought that was the limit of it, you are not even going to finish this race. Communists are the useful idiots. They're nothing but cannon fodder for the type of people that this is. Even the globalists. Well, the globalists are very useful, not quite idiots. Um, they would be the captains and sergeant majors in that army, and not even the generals. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go there and say there's two world leaders that make up the generals. I may or may not know who the second one is, but I know the first one serves a four-letter word that starts with I, and everybody's tired of hearing me say it, myself included. Um, yeah, the Antifa and the other Marxist or communist or whatever you want to call them, they're just very useful idiots. They're the cannon fodder. Hell, I'm actually going to say this. Even some of the anarchists are not useful idiots. There's two in particular I have in mind. Um, and one of them is probably here now hiding. Um, Smart girl. What they do is sell raw honey and sell raw milk and smoke pot once in a while. All right. I'm talking about the actually useful idiots to these people. And the communists are just cannon fodder. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure the sort of people that I'm talking about would be very, very happy if Antifa all went away, but not before they took as many people with them as they could. Total Control says, that's right, you can only advertise transsexual makeup. There's actually some truth to that. You can also advertise porn. You just can't display any. I'm not even fucking shitting you people either. There is a particular video, and it is still on YouTube, that says that it's clips from a porn video. All right. Doesn't show the sex acts, but it shows the lead ups to the sex acts. And then it links straight to the Pornhub video. Now, fuck. Are you kidding me? How did this get through? You can also advertise hate speech if it's the right type of hate speech. All right. The speaker can actually be going to prison on terrorism charges. But because it was the right kind of hate speech, his video is still up. Oh, yeah, by the way, part of the charges, not part of the charge, part of the investigation was that people were starting to wonder where and how this guy is using the money that he's been getting by the millions. Another stupid move on his part was to actually have an AR-15 on camera and drop it and talk about how if you drop your weapon, it will go bang. I I'm watching it and I'm saying, what? I ran and grabbed my AR-15 and did the same thing. Nothing. Um. So yeah, that guy, he's going to prison now. He still has his hate speech up, and he's getting away with it. Or well, correction. It would be hate speech by YouTube's own standards, and to be perfectly blunt, it's bragging about the death of about 100 people because they're racist and all white. I mean, that should meet the standard, even under mine, really borderline there. YouTube will not take it down. Troll, go take care of your heating and air, um, especially where you are, and your generator as well, because I know where vaguely where he is. He needs to really deal with that, especially this being winter. He's cold. He's going to be really cold if he doesn't do that. Okay, so yeah, if if it's the right kind of hate speech, you can get away with it. Whatever. What do I know? I'm just an honest asshole. That's all. Um, and yeah, the right kind of hate speech and transsexual makeup. And by the way, um, uh, by the way, I'm kind of a well, I guess I'm a hate monger. If you do not have the surgery, you are whatever you were born as. The day you get the surgery, you are whatever you became. Um, Blair White had the surgery. Okay, so you call her a lady in front of me, all right? She'll call me an asshole in front of you, and she's not wrong. Um, Troll's letting me know that he's still listening in, at least. Um, he's also letting me know that he's honest and people hate it. You know what? Fuck it. Right? There's a meme out there about two tables. One has a sign over it that says, what is it? Painful truths, and the other, comforting lies. There's a line coming off of the comforting lies table that literally goes off the panel. just what you're seeing there, there has to be at least 3 dozen people in that line. Nobody in front of the painful truths. Well, fuck you. I'll get in the short line. I'd rather be an honest asshole than a fucking liar. That's it. And if I have to call out friends and allies, I will. I've done it before. That's part of this exact live stream. Saying Biden's going to repeal the Second Amendment all by himself when you goddamn know that that's not possible. For those of you in the Discord, I think y'all have seen my full kit, but going over it very briefly. Class 3 Alpha body armor, I have a very, very specific preference. And you watching the Discord, you watching the Facebook page. AR-15 with at least that 5.56 upper receiver, not the 223. Get the full 5.56 upper receiver. You run 223 through a 5.56, you can't run 5.56 through a 223. There is an actual difference. The exact same model to the best of your flexibility as your local law enforcement carries. For example, my sheriff's office carries Glock 17. Glock 22 can be converted to a 9mm. Perfect. And have at least a couple of gallons of gas in your backyard. I'm just saying. Okay. Troll says, my brother-in-law is a pre-op trans. He changed his bio 6 weeks ago, but never mentioned to me that he didn't like his pretty dresses for the past 25 years. And that's a very confusing statement. Okay. Well, good luck to your brother-in-law. And I'm not going to sit here and bash on him if that's what you were hoping or expecting or thinking. I think you know better than to expect that out of me, though. As for, he never mentioned to me that he didn't like his pretty dresses for the last 25 years. You're right. That's a confusing statement, bro. Not sure where you're going with that. On the other hand, I treat everybody the same. All right. No lives matter. We are all equally fucking worthless, myself included. Um, that is also not a humble brag. I do not humble brag. I make a statement of painful fact or basic truth or whatever. I do not humble brag. Total Control says, I would love to see a million gun march on Pennsylvania Avenue. I'm actually not opposed to that idea. Now, let me rephrase that. If we could march well, I would actually be in favor of that idea. And march well means what? Ranks of roughly 10, probably separated enough that we didn't trip on each other, right? That's actually not a bad idea. It's actually kind of a good idea. I mean, and yes, I know what the connotation is. A march past the White House. A million guns marching past the White House. That would be intimidating to anybody. But that would also be the worst place and time to try to do something you should have not done, because the moment you start, you're going to find like 15 rounds in your body and you haven't even finished getting your gun out yet. That's actually I kind of like this idea. Well, I think it would not work out the way we hope. I kind of like the idea. All right. Um. So yeah, get your kit together and put it somewhere where it's safe. Uh, I'm going to be perfectly honest and say don't keep it at home. Finish it and don't keep it at home. I kind of have to leave you to figure that out on your own. All right, guys, I'm just going to ask if there's any questions. And kind of the reason I'm being a little pushy right now is as Alpine would put it, you got to see a man about a horse. Okay, Troll says, I'm good with it. I'm just playing with English, trying to put it into words, but never makes much sense and always sounds negative. Understood. Um, and this is in reference to the dresses thing. You know what, guys? I have to see a man about a horse. So I will be right back. Talk amongst yourselves for a minute. Whew. Sorry about that, guys. Wow. Okay. That one hit really hard. One of these days, I'm going to figure out how to anticipate for that. Going to catch up on the chat. Okay. Troll said, great. So after shit hits the fan, the safe word is Taco Tuesday. Well, mine is still an F word you can't say on YouTube and Facebook. Automatic 30 days. But okay. OT says, give me a percentage of warring states. I mean, Civil War. Right now, I would say 50-50. Troll asked if it's a shooting war and said, zilch. I think you're an optimist. 50-50. And I do mean shooting and bombing and firebombing. And to be perfectly blunt, no, it's already started. Does it escalate into large scale civil war? 50-50. Total asks if I'm on Parlor. No. No. I've seen 5 competitors for Facebook come and go. And I'm done chasing every rabbit hole. Luke says 35. I think he meant 35% because OT asked, is that 35%? Total said, honestly, MC has more class than me. I would have taken you into the bathroom with me. Okay. Well, I wouldn't do that. This is an unlisted wall. Oh, Luke confirms that yes, he meant 35% chance of civil war. Luke, you are an optimist. Not as optimistic as Troll. Make sure I gonna say this right. Yeah, you're not as much of an optimist as Troll is, but you're still an optimist. And Total Control has offered his parlor. If any of you want to follow up and talk to him there, I'm half thinking about it. But there's 4 right now. All right, and all of them want me to join right now. Um, it's just I want to see one of them actually succeed and hold on long enough to be a legitimate contender, which was what Facebook did to MySpace, by the way. And then I'll talk about joining. OT found something funny. God, I hope it's not the idea that I would take the computer into the head with me. Also, I'm still at Papa Carey's right now, and I will not dox him under any circumstances. I've been doxed. Last time was about a year ago now. A supposed friend. This was a Telegram group, which I don't like Telegram, but anyway, decided to announce to everybody Mike Charlie is, and then gave my initials. Oh, well, that's nice. Aren't you a sweetheart? Ironically enough, that's not what pissed me off the most. What pissed me off the most was when she literally sabotaged the entire business that I was getting into. Anyway, um, I am not ignoring you guys. I'm just making sure. Okay, that's good. Also, head breaks is another reason why I would really love to have a guest in here sometimes. OT was confirming that, yeah, he thought the head taking the computer into the head with me was a funny thought. No, I would never do that. Troll, you didn't have your heat on? Don't you have a backup plan? You should get a backup plan, bro. Um, uh, this isn't doxing, but it is letting a little bit of a secret out. Um, Papa Carey lives in an area that they shut down power from time to time. High winds, snow. Um, oh, earlier this year, the Zog fire broke out, and I was actually able to get video from his back porch. That close. Um, there's only a couple hundred reasons why he might lose power. Well, if he loses power, he loses all of his heat as well. Not so. He's got a wood stove to back it up, and he's got propane heaters. I'm not really happy about him using the propane heaters in the house, but he does at least try to take some safety precautions. So, with few exceptions, you can survive any kind of heat. Death Valley is about the only place you can go that is so hot that the heat itself can kill you. But it's also a real good idea to stay. Well, first of all, it's a good idea to stay out of Death Valley. There's a lot of places you can go where the cold will kill you, and it's just that simple. I'm deleting that comment as soon as I find it. All right. Um, Troll, I deleted your comment because I'm not going to let you dox yourself, even a little bit like that. All right. I know this is me spurting the shit out of everything. Um, be a lot more careful about what you say, guys. Please. Luke says, yeah, cold sucks. Cold can kill. Heat, generally speaking, will not. Dehydration will, and dehydration can come with cold too. Um, there we go. By the way, Troll, my dad's place could be literally right next door to the hospital. And when they do those public safety power shutdowns, he's done. He does not have electricity for the next 12 or 24 or whatever hours. Troll, what gets you here is the temperature swings. Oh my God, yes, I believe you. From 85 to 28 degrees in 5 hours. I've never seen quite, I've never experienced quite that much. I've seen worse. Um, I've seen greater swing and in only slightly longer time frames, like 90s to 20s, 90s to upper teens in 6 to 8 hours. That was New Jersey. Sucked. Um, but yeah, temperature swings will do actually more harm than actually being cold or actually being hot. You're nice, it's hot and you're sweating and your body is caked in sweat. And even if it's all evaporated off you, now that you got that urea and there's still some of that water, residual moisture and etc. And then you have the humidity. If you have the humidity, you've got that additional problem. And then the temperature plunges. You're soaked. It's freezing. And then it takes so long to warm back up. The temperature can drop like that, but to warm back up again, it takes days. Yeah, it takes several hours. Um, Troll says, "There's no chance you'll be dressed to be out in the bush, especially locally because of the swamp." Huh? There's no chance you'll be dressed to be out in the bush, especially locally because of the swamp. The swamp is part of the bush, so why would you not be dressed for the swamp? I'm kind of lost there, bro. Um, okay. There was a couple of people that said that they were going to try to make it backstage, and I guess they're not going to be able to make it. Um, which really sucks. Huh. If you're here and you're in the chat, speak up. I'm actually checking Discord to see if a couple of them reached out that way. Okay. Um, so that's not it. That sucks. Okay. Total control ass off topic. Why do you choose to respect transsexuals? Because it's not my place to judge. All right. If God wants to do some smiting, God can get off God's in ass, come on down from heaven and start doing some smiting himself. Tired of doing other people's work for them. But not gay men. Um, actually, I'm not sure where that came from. Um, like I said, I treat everybody the same. I treat you all like dirt, right? And I treat you the way I treat myself, like dirt. We're all fucking worthless. Oh, as in, why do you call us the F word? Um, the F word growing up didn't actually mean homosexual male. When I was up to about 15 years old, the F word was just the worst thing. I'm going to underscore this with a story from seventh grade, I think it was, maybe eighth. Adam. Adam. That's real first name. We're going to call him Smith. All right. So Adam Smith, classmate or schoolmate of mine, didn't like him, but okay. Um, he was at school. One of the girls called him the F word, the 3-letter version, and he just totally freaked out, F bombs and all. The instructor is, oh, what was Mrs. T. Um, she's over there and she's grabbed him, and what's going on? And you know what? That's a absolutely proper response. What's going on? Because he's just used language you can't use in 7th grade, especially at school. She just called me a female ass grabber. He went to the principal's office for using the word ass. She went on her merry way. We didn't even know what gay meant back then. By the way, a little bit of the history of that particular F word. The use of that as a pejorative for homosexual men is uniquely American, first of all. And second of all, it's one of my safe words. It's true. One of my safe words is the F word you can't use on Facebook and YouTube. And part of it, and it underscores Adam's experience in 7th or 8th grade. I think I was in 8th grade. Um, Back before my Twitter lifetime, my Twitter death row, I was talking about mandatory carry saves lives, gun control kills, and a gun control supporter very brazenly and openly called me the F word. And I'm sitting there thinking, if I use that same word, I'd be banned. I'd be in twatter jail right now. But for some reason, Twatter thought that was perfectly appropriate for the circumstances. Now, totes. Um, if somebody is homosexual or straight or something else, and I don't like them, I will call them a fucking shitbag. Right? I treat everybody exactly the same. Oh, let me rephrase that. I treat everybody exactly the same. Um, it, it doesn't really matter, um, with the exception of somebody whose actions serve a certain 4-letter I word. You know, gay, straight, or otherwise. I might just call you that F word. There you go. Troll says, my experience was getting drunk. Your experience at what, bruh? No chance. Is this related to not wearing swamp gear out in the swamp? Coming up on the 2 hours, I'm going to stretch this out a few more minutes because of my own mistake. Bad Carrie. Um, and actually, I am going to kind of wrap this up. Yeah. Um, Phil says, I somehow lost camp while drunk, spent 4 hours wandering around a pine forest, utterly lost, light jacket, but once it started snowing, I got nervous. I believe you. I'm going to take a. Okay. I'm up to speed now. Uh, oh, I think I'm up to speed. He was talking about me running off to use the head and his experience with using the head under less than optimal circumstances. Total Control says, I find it interesting that you said he used inappropriate language, but not the girl. Hmm. Her language was really inappropriate for school. That and the six-letter version were the ultimate insults. That was the fighting words. You're actually obligated to hit somebody at that age in my community, um, for calling you those two words. And you can't hit a girl. Well, I abandoned that rule a long time ago, but moving on. Um, Her language is absolutely inappropriate. She got away with it because nobody heard her say it except him. Or nobody in authority did, anyways. But he said ass. He spelt out the word. He got in trouble. So yeah, I and growing up with Adam, I know he's a lot of things, but I don't think he lied about that. I think that's exactly what happened, and she should have been suspended, or maybe even expelled over that. You're gonna go there. You're those two words were, you say it basically as a warning. I'm gonna hit you, and I'd seen it happen before a couple times, and she got away with it. She got away with it because she was trying to provoke him into hitting her so he would get expelled. And that's the way it is. So that's the way it was. Troll says it doesn't snow often and it made everything different. All right. And yes, snow makes everything instantly different. Okay. A little bit calmer now. All right. The subject at, or the original subject, the use of grub luge. As you see stories, especially on the internet, from sources that have gone there before, whatever it is that they're claiming, turn it down about 50%. Because I guarantee you they turned it up at least that far. Take everything with a grain of salt. Even if you know this source and you know they're reliable, take it with a grain of salt. Because they're probably telling you a bullshit story anyway. Oh, excuse me. Whether it's lying about COVID and a quarter of a million people dead of COVID, no, that's a lie. Or Biden gun ban, Biden's going to repeal the Second Amendment. Well, we know that's not the truth. That's a flagrant exaggeration. The difference between the two, this we know is an actual lie. It's a proven untruthful statement. This one we know is a proven exaggeration, but it's based on something that we know he would do if he thought he could get away with it. And that's the truth. I'm really not going to ask if anybody likes it. The troll says he had to circle the camp twice. It was somebody cranking up the generator and followed the sound back. And then he says, I assume everyone online is a communist bot. How about me? Just saying. Um, Control says it's cool. For your information, if a person is in the closet still in the year 2020, the last thing you want to do is freak out when called an F word. Yeah. Freaking out about something that at the core may actually be true is the last thing you do. All right. Um, there are certain lines you don't cross. Um, you guys can call me anything, including that F word or those F words, although that is my safe word, so kind of a little bit lost why you would call me that. Um, don't talk shit about my family. There was one gentleman who said my now ex-wife should have had an abortion. How do you think I took that? I'll tell you how I took that. I told him exactly what he should do. I didn't tell him how though. Totes, take it easy and find me on Discord. I'd love to talk to you. Troll says you do you friend. It's no skin off my Tigger. I think he meant you do you. Um, all right, guys. I have gone a couple of minutes over, and I did promise Papa Carey that I would be available as of 1100 today. So I kind of got to wrap it up. I would love to hear ideas for a day and maybe a time for second live stream during the week. Let me know what you guys are thinking. All right. Till then, keep calm and mandatory carry on.